Welcome to MeditativeZone.com. I'm Craig Kimbrough, and as always, I'm glad to have you along for this glimpse into the meditative zone. Today, we will be discussing quantum physics again. During the quantum physics video part 1, I have promised that I would do a part 2. Now I know that not only will I be doing part 2, but this may be a quantum physics series. And with quantum physics part 1, it was just totally different than what I expected. I had a lot more people respond than I expected to. Then a lot more people responded than I expected to, especially so early on. And a lot of people loved it, said it was funny, said that the example was applied to everyday life. They were glad to have it explained in such a easy to understand way. And then some just flat out didn't like it. They said it's not math. If it's no math, it's no physics. It's not scientific enough, and things of this nature. So I thought I would address some of these things before I went into the little story I'm going to go into. Now, as far as not being math, I will say this. I'm not a mathematician. I am not a physicist. And no, you're right, I do not have math in there. I have what happens on account of what physicists talk about. Einstein, who was a scientist, physicist, he spoke about how he wanted to know the thoughts of God. What I have seen is the greatest in all fields began to stumble upon this unseen world. The world of the subatomic particles that we can't see with our human eyes. They seem to stumble upon it within themselves in a magical type of way, through studying physics, through studying mathematics, through studying golf, through studying whatever, or doing whatever it is that they're into, to where they just get so engrossed in it, the rest of the world disappears. They stumble into a magical world in which things magically happen. Now, this is what I was talking about when I gave my experience with my friends. And the physicists say that when they look through these high power instruments, that the subatomic particles just seem to appear as they look for them, which goes right along with what the ancients have said, that everything is everywhere always, and there are unlimited possibilities, and they are all out there for us to experience. Me making this video, me not making this video, both are in play. Both are actually in the realm of possibilities. Which one I move into depends upon my focus, but they're both there to be experienced, ongoing. Now, this has been my experience also through my meditations and so forth. This has been my experience that everything is everywhere. Now, I'm going to go into my story. And actually, it's not my story, it's my friend's story. He and his buddy, him and his cousin rather, were going to California. Each one of them have different expectancies. One is expecting to be like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He came from a rougher area, and he expected to go out to California, be like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, show up and live with family and be in this wonderful area and experience the rich, beautiful life. The other cousin was from a slow town, and he wanted to experience the fast life in California. And he talked about how he wanted to have these experiences. He wanted to see the gang activity and all these different things. He wanted to be a part of that world. And my friend who wanted the Bel Air experience, he said, what was he thinking about? I kept trying to tell him, man, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. I've experienced a little bit of that world. I do not want to deal with anything like that. They get out there. The one cousin that wants the gang experience, he's dressed accordingly. The other cousin is trying to warn him and going along and saying, man, you cannot do this. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. Goes out with him, and lo and behold, they get chased by a gang with guns, and they're running for their lives. And they eventually lose the guys who were chasing them. But as they lose them, they brought all this attention to themselves. So now the people in the neighborhood are yelling out the windows, and they're yelling the gang name, yo, and the name of the gang that they think my friend and his cousin are from because of the way the cousin is dressed. The next day, when my friend, they escape, but the next day he goes out. He goes with a group of people, and he ends up getting arrested on account of something that someone did the night before over there. And he ends up in jail. His aunt gets him out, but he never forgets the experience because he wanted to live the life of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air while he was in California. And he wanted to live that wonderful, beautiful, rich life, and he had none of that. He had the gang life activity life while he was in California, and was treated like a criminal and just did not understand why. And after we were talking about the other quantum physics thing, right in the middle of it, he said, well, how does that apply to my situation? I went there expecting to have this one experience. I was expected to be the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I wanted that, and I did not get it. I got the complete opposite. How does quantum physics apply to this? And I told him, I said, no, you wanted the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air experience, but that's not what you focused on when you looked through the highly powered microscope for the subatomic particles. When you looked through the highly powerful equipment of your mind, you were looking at your cousin saying, what is he doing? Why is he dressed like that? He's going to get us in trouble. And all your focus was on all the things that could happen on account of that. And that's what you moved into. You experienced quantum physics, and we all experience quantum physics every day. Now, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air situation, well, that was there for him if he would have poured his focus and attention there. But his focus and attention was hijacked by his cousin. Not purposely, but he allowed it to be taken over. And this happens to us all the time. And we say, well, I was thinking about this, but it did not happen. But a lot of times we just don't realize how intricately the equipment that we're working with, our focus, how intricately it works. But it always sends us into the realm of possibility that we have expected to move into, in our heart of hearts, in our deepest heart of hearts. And in sometimes, even when we move into the one we expect, it may not be the one we want. That's what we're going to be talking about in part 3. How to get what you want with quantum physics. For today, I hope you've enjoyed this conversation part 2 on quantum physics. As always, glad to have you along for this glimpse into the Meditator Zone. I'm Craig Kimbrough. Until next time, peace and blessings to you all. Thank you.